I'm joined now by Carlos Mejia from Boston via Skype. He's the Humanitarian Director for Programs and Advocacy at Oxfam America. So, Carlos, talk to us about the rescue and recovery operations. Why does it seem to be so difficult? Is it because of these dual disasters?
Well, the impact of the tsunami and the earthquake has collapsed a lot of the infrastructure right now, making difficult the access to the most affected communities. Despite all the intention of quick responses, getting into the most affected communities is getting more and more challenging. As you know, the government is leading the response and is requesting international support to do that. Oxfam America and Oxfam is definitely responding to this particular crisis by deploying some of the staff to assess the most urgent needs of the community affected, but also working through the local partners who are already the first responders to this kind of situation.
Right, there's talk that the death toll could rise as they go through this rubble, but there are survivors, and we understand the situation is desperate on the ground with people looking for food now going without for at least 2 days. What are some of the growing health risks on the ground for the survivors and also for some of the workers, the rescuers there?
Well, it is always risky and challenging for the workers, but the most important thing is to really reach out the most affected population and provide the basics on shelter, food, and clean water, which is highly needed. You know, and power and gas supplies are really short because the collapsed infrastructure. Oxfam is responding right now with assessment team and trying to reach out over 500,000 of the affected population, basically by aid on supplies around food, water, purification kits, and shelter packets.
There's also the risk and the fear of aftershocks and the people left without homes that were destroyed by these disasters. At what point does that begin to be the priority, getting shelter for the people who are still there?
Well, that is already a priority. We need to make sure that those who lost their houses have a place to stay and in a safe environment. This is number one. But also, you know, one of the other risks that we need to be alert about is the potential outbreaks that came with this kind of crisis, especially when there is not water supplies and purified supplies for clean water.
And you mentioned that Oxfam is on the way there now. Can you just describe very quickly the international response, what's happening behind the scenes as rescuers from all around the world are trying to get to this location? The coordination.
It's a big challenge. Definitely lessons learned from the last big crisis in the region has been in place, and today the government is playing a very strong leading role in coordination with the international community, and Oxfam, aligned and in partnership with the government and the civil society, is working in partnership with local organizations, as many other international organizations that are already in the region or moving into the region. What we are doing right now is really in partnership with local actors, local organizations, because they know the region, they know the communities, and they know how to access better to the most challenging part of the disaster.
All right, Carlos Mejia, thank you so much for joining us from Boston. We appreciate it.